So today, we're talking about someone really special in the world of business. A titan of industry, sure, but he's known for something way rarer than just building an empire. We're talking about his character.
Okay, so let's just jump right into the big question, right? How is it possible that in the completely cutthroat world of global business, there's a guy at the very top who basically nobody dislikes? I mean, they say he's maybe the only person in India with zero haters. How does that even happen?
And look, if you need one image to sum it all up, this is it. That's not some junior employee. That's Narayana Murthy, founder of Infosys, a huge competitor, a legend himself. For him to do that, I mean, that one moment, that one gesture of respect, it says more than 1,000 business articles ever could. It tells you exactly who Ratan Tata is.
All right, so what is it about him? What makes him so different from your typical billionaire CEO? Let's get into what really makes this man tick. I mean, you've got to love the contrast here. This is a guy who's a skilled pilot. In fact, he was the first Indian civilian to fly an F-16 fighter jet. Think about that. But then you could also see him on the side of the road, helping change a punctured tire. It's this wild mix, the high-flying adventurer and the super humble, down-to-earth guy. That's him in a nutshell. But look, a person like this doesn't just appear out of nowhere. To really get who Ratan Tata is, we have to rewind the clock. We have to look at the very DNA of the company he inherited. Because for the Tatas, business was never just about making money. It was about building a nation. And I'm not exaggerating. This goes back over a century and a half. The Tata Group has always been about creating these huge pillars for India. Just think about this for a second. We're talking pensions and healthcare for workers way back in the 1870s. That was unheard of. Then you have India's first proper steel plant, India's first airline, the country's first hotel with electricity. You see the pattern, right? They find something the country needs and they build it. So here's the key takeaway. This idea, this philosophy of social upliftment, it wasn't just some corporate slogan on a wall. It was everything. It was the air he breathed, the legacy he was handed. It was the job description for being the head of Tata. And in 1991, that job became his. It was his turn to carry the torch. But man, his path to getting there and what he faced when he arrived, it was anything but a smooth ride. It was a total baptism by fire. You see, his whole life was kind of unconventional. He had a tough childhood, his parents split up when he was young, he went to the US for college, studied architecture at Cornell, and honestly, he could have just stayed there. But he came back. And he didn't waltz into a corner office. Nope. He started on the shop floor at Tata Steel, shoveling limestone, working with the crew. So when he eventually got the top job, he wasn't just the heir. He was the guy who had seen it all from the ground up. And when he finally did take over in 91, things were a mess, seriously. The whole group was kind of stuck in the past. You had these incredibly powerful company heads who ran their businesses like their own little kingdoms and didn't really listen to anyone. On top of that, right at that moment, India's economy opens up to the world for the first time. Suddenly, fierce global competitors are at the doorstep, and Tata was just not ready. This quiet, humble architect, he had to turn into a fighter, and he had to do it overnight. And if you want to understand that inner fire, that quiet strength he has, you have to hear this next story. It's legendary. It's a story about how a single, brutal insult sparked one of the most incredible corporate revenge stories you will ever hear. Okay, picture this. It's 1999. Ratan Tata has poured his heart and soul into his dream project, the Tata Indica, India's very first fully homegrown car. But it's a flop. It's failing badly, and the company is losing a ton of money. So swallowing his pride, he and his team get on a plane to Detroit. Their plan? To sell their passenger car business to Ford. The meeting is a disaster. It's humiliating. Bill Ford himself apparently looks him in the eye and says something like, "You guys don't know anything about cars." And then comes the line that changed everything. "We're doing you a favor by even considering buying this." Wow, so what did Ratan Tata do? Did he yell? Did he storm out? No. He just quietly stood up, thanked them for their time, and flew back to India that same night. The deal was off. He decided right then and there, on that flight back, that he would turn this thing around. That insult, it lit a fuse. Okay, now let's fast forward. 9 years later. The year is 2008. The whole world is in a financial meltdown, and Ford is on the brink of bankruptcy. They are desperately trying to sell off two of their most famous brands, Jaguar and Land Rover. And guess who walks in the door with a checkbook? Yep, Ratan Tata. And in an incredible twist of fate, it was Bill Ford who reportedly said to him this time, "You are doing us a huge favor by buying Jaguar Land Rover."
And just like that, for $2.3 times billion, Tata Motors bought Jaguar and Land Rover. I mean, talk about the sweetest revenge. It wasn't loud, it wasn't angry, it was just pure, undeniable success.
But being a great leader isn't just about winning business deals, right? It's about how you act when things get really, really tough. And this is where we see that his real core asset wasn't just business smarts, it was his heart. Think back to the horrific 26/11 terror attacks on Mumbai, specifically on the Taj Hotel, which is owned by Tata. His response was, well, it was just unbelievable. He didn't just take care of his employees, he made sure that everyone affected. The vendors on the street outside, the pedestrians who got hurt, literally anyone caught in the chaos was supported. He set up funds, personally visited families. His promise was simple and powerful. We will take care of you for the rest of your life. And that conviction, that set of values, it was rock solid. There's a story that sometime after the attacks, a minister tried to push him into doing business with Pakistan. His reported answer was immediate and to the point. You may be shameless, but I am not. For him, principles always came before profits. No exceptions. And this wasn't just a one-time thing. That commitment to the nation is constant. When the COVID-19 pandemic hit, what did the Tata Group do? They pledged a staggering 1,500 crore rupees to the fight. Again and again, they've shown what that old philosophy of nation building really means in practice. So, okay, we've talked about the businessman, the leader, the nation builder, but before we wrap up, I want to share something a little more personal about the man behind the empire, a quiet story that tells you a lot about the personal sacrifices he's made.
You know, a lot of people ask, why did Ratan Tata never get married? Well, there's a story behind it. Back when he was a young man in Los Angeles, he fell in love. They were serious, they were planning to get married, but then he got a call from India. His grandmother, the woman who had raised him, was very sick, and he had to go back to be with her.
So he asked her to come with him to move to India. But this was right around the time of the 1962 Indochina War. Her parents, understandably, were terrified and refused to let her go. He went, hoping to sort things out and bring her over later. But life happens. By the time things calmed down and he could go back, it was too late. She had married someone else. A story of love, duty, and just terrible timing.
And really, that brings us to the heart of his entire legacy. It leaves us with a pretty big question to think about, doesn't it? What's the real measure of a successful life? Is it just about the numbers on a balance sheet? The fact that he grew the company's value 50 times over? Or is it something else? Is it earning the profound respect of your biggest rival? Is it the lifelong loyalty of your employees? Is it living a life of quiet, unwavering integrity? The legacy of Ratan Tata kind of makes you stop and think about what truly matters.